than the legends would have you believe.
He's in love.
What?
With Gwen.
I am not.
Yes, you are.
No way.
I saw you yesterday with that flower she'd given you.
But I'm not in love with her.
It's all right.
It starts off with Merlin standing up to Arthur because Arthur isn't being the nicest of boys to his servant. And as time goes on, Merlin discovers that it is his destiny to protect Arthur, whether he likes him or not, and so ends up being his servant. And in spending time with Arthur, he realizes that the difficulties that Arthur is under, being heir to the kingdom and being at odds with his father's beliefs and having his own beliefs, and the pressure that brings upon him makes him sort of see Arthur as more of a real person and more understanding, and from that point their relationship becomes much more cordial. And there's a sort of a trust between the two of them, which is lovely to see, and with that trust comes this sort of banter and the jokes and everything like that. So you have a lovely relationship to watch, a very sort of real relationship. They've got so many ongoing jokes at 6 o'clock in the morning in the car that you want to sleep, but they're just going and firing it off each other.
That means you go the other way and cut him off.
I think as he gets more comfortable with the fact that he is a magical being, the magic gives him confidence. And he realizes that his destiny is so important. And so at the start, he is this sort of shy and gawky sort of country boy who's come to the big city. And then he realizes that it's his destiny to, in a way, save the big city. So the change in him is very apparent at that point, and he becomes more comfortable with his powers and more powerful in them as well at the same time. So you get that nice change from the first episode on.
How's Merlin? If Arthur comes back with the antidote in time, he'll be fine.
And he'll be fine. You should be with him. I'll manage. I know what he means to you. Go.
Thank you.
The relationship between me and Gwen is quite close. It's similar to the Arthur-Merlin relationship. And I care a great deal about her, and we spend a lot of time together. So in the episode that Lancelot appears, I can see that there's something about her that sees something in him. And you'll have to watch the episode to see what happens. We film in France, in the most fantastic chateau. When we all first came up to it, as a cast collectively stopped and in awe, because this was exactly how we thought Camelot should look. And when you see that, I guarantee it, you're going to think it's CGI, because you can't imagine that something that beautiful actually exists. And you're there, and it's such a huge castle, and you're thinking that you're such a tiny part of this, but you get to be a part of it. It's like, this is a princess, I'm in a dress, I'm in a castle. I mean, this is every girl's dream. So over 8 months, it becomes your life. Rather than if we were filming it for 2 months, I think I'd still feel like I was Katie rather than feeling like I was Morgana. But everyone is unbelievably supportive, and the crew together, like one big, kind of scary family, but one big family.
And Merlin, I need hardly tell you that the practice of any form of enchantments will get you killed.
He's an indulgent father figure to Merlin, and he is the man that's been there and done it all, and sage words of wisdom, especially when it comes to magic, that Merlin has never been able to speak to anyone about his powers before, and then he comes to the city and Gaius is there, and Gaius is there to tell him right from wrong.
It seemed so simple.
An easy solution is like a light in a storm, Merlin. Rush for it at your peril, for it may not always lead you to a safe harbor.
I can see that now.
How many times have I warned you about the responsibilities of being a warlock?
And to guide him, and that's the relationship that they end up having. He is absolutely a father figure, but he also guides him as he comes to realize how his new powers are manifesting and how powerful he now is.
Yeah.
Absolute power corrupts, absolutely, and there's that fear that could happen, I think, with Gaius. But the more that you get to know Merlin, the more you realize that's never going to happen, because at his very core, Merlin is a good person. Some things are hard, you know, and you're doing a big fight scene and you're watching a tournament and there are knights, and all of a sudden, you know, you're doing a scene and you're supposed to be reacting to this monster, and this monster is a silver ball in the middle of the ground. But at the same time, the sets and everything are so detailed and so fantastic that it's easy to imagine what's there. And Also, the production have done quite a clever thing. Is not everything's CGI'd. Some things are models, some people are prosthetics, some things like that. So what you see some of the time is going to be exactly what's there. So it's this really nice mix, not too much of one thing and, you know, enough of one other. So it's this really healthy way, I think, of putting it together, and it makes it work on many levels rather than it just being real and CGI. You've got real and prosthetic and CGI as well, so it's a many-layered production.
I thought you were my friend.
I am more than that, Merlin. I am your kin.
No, the only family I have is my mother, and you had me murder her.
Her life has not been taken in vain. We will achieve great things together.
He's almost the voice of honesty. He's got no agenda, really, as the dragon. So what he tells you is good or bad. That's the way things are. So he's the only character in it that doesn't have any agenda. He tells things how it is, whether you like it or not.
I've realized my mistake. I've been looking for the creature in the wrong place, in the records of all known living things in the kingdom. And then I thought, what about creatures only recorded in legend, in myth? And I discovered this.
That is it. That's the monster.
The great thing about the show is that it's going to appeal to everyone. It's got a little something that's going to appeal to every generation. Parents are going to be able to watch it with their parents and their children all together. And when we saw the first episode back, when you're reading the scripts, you forget how funny it is and how much colour and how rich it all looks. So it's got something to it for everyone. As the season goes on, it gets a little bit darker and a little bit more sinister, but at the same time, it still has magic and creatures and sets and everything that's going to appeal to little kids and to their older siblings, and with the characters being the age that they are and the change that they're going through, sort of trying to manage turning from teenagers into adults, it'll appeal to those people as well. And because it's not rigidly stuck as a period piece and it's got that modern element to it, I think people will find it easier to identify with. When it comes right down to it, it's just a fun show, and everyone, I think, is going to find something that they're going to enjoy out of it.